Hello and welcome to Real Talk Lounge. I'm Eva and this is Roxy. And today we're going to be talking about Ozempic. So it's been all over the news lately. It's been all over Twitter, all over social media. So we thought we'd do our take on it. So Roxy, what's your initial thought on Ozempic?
Um, I have lots. As usual, I have lots. Where to even start? I mean, this has been really not on my radar. Initially, I started hearing about it a few months ago, and it just kept coming up and coming up and coming up. And then I said, okay, well, let's take a look into it. And what is Ozempic and what does it do? So Ozempic is essentially is it semaglutide? Um, and what it does is it's supposed to be for people that have diabetes. It's supposed to help them control their blood sugar. And they found that it had also some weight loss properties. And a lot of people jumped on that bandwagon, saying, if it could help for weight loss, like we're always looking for something to help with that, let's try this Ozempic thing. And
Right.
it's taken over by storm. Apparently, all of Hollywood is on this Ozempic train.
Yeah, it's definitely taken on a sort of a mind of its own. It's become a little bit of a beast. Just to clarify, this is actually for type 2 diabetics.
Yeah.
And it is an injectable. It supposedly does act on the hormones. It acts on the leptids, which is supposed to be for the feeling of fullness. Is supposed to, I guess, hold on to to what's inside your, I guess, stomach or intestines longer. So hence, there's some side effects associated with that as well, like washroom issues on both ends of the spectrum. They also say it acts on the feeling of fullness, so you feel
Same.
less hungry. So I think it suppresses appetite. That's a big thing, right? Where I watched a few ladies talking about it, and they're saying they just don't feel hungry. They have to remind themselves to eat. So I mean, if you're not eating, I mean that's definitely a surefire way to lose weight, right?
Well, yeah. The thing that I find concerning about this is like, okay, so there is a ton of um, side effects. The side effects include things like nausea, digestive issues, but it also has a huge, not huge, but there is a potential risk of increase in cancer, thyroid cancer. Some people say, well, it's one of the easiest forms of cancer to cure, but do we really want to get cancer just so that we could lose a few pounds? And this is not to take away from anybody who genuinely needs it because they have been prescribed it by their doctors for diabetes, right?
Right.
That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people who are already slim. Like, for instance, one of the people who have been called out for this, Chelsea Handler, right? By all intents and purposes, she seems to be on the slim side. She has not said whether she is diabetic at all. She did mention that a lot of people in Hollywood, their doctors are prescribing it, quote unquote, like candy, so that they in times when they might need to lose like 10-20 pounds for an upcoming event, they can just go ahead, inject, and the weight should just fly right off. I don't like that. I don't like that.
Well, I think a lot of people have strong opinions on that, and the fact of the matter is that people who actually need it, or people who are watching their loved ones who need it, have to wait at the pharmacies because, first of all, there's a supply chain issue going on, which is also making the scarcity of the drug sort of an issue. And then on top of it, when people who don't need it as urgently are being prescribed this, are taking away from the patients who actually do need it, something to control their blood sugar levels, which is absolutely a travesty. And I think this is my opinion personally, and I do believe that the blame is to be put on the doctors, because I think the onus should be on them, because you can't get this drug without a prescription. So
Well, well, well,
essentially,
well,
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 oh,
well, well. Hold on. No, 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 no. You know what's happening now? And this is, I know you're going to say, well, it's not the same thing. But what is happening is there's such a demand for this drug. Doctors are not prescribing it. People are going and getting second opinions. And you know what? If you search long and hard enough, you will find a doctor that's willing to just write you a script for nothing. Number one. Number two, a lot of people are turning to the black market to find this thing, either because they can't find it and they actually need it for their diabetes, or two, because they've seen it on TikTok. They can't get it from a doctor because they don't qualify for it. So they turn to the black market. So people are making money from this. And there is no generic for it. It's a very expensive drug. It's like $1,000 a month. So on top of it being like, something that is a trend, it's actually a rich people thing now, unless you're like doing things.
I have to interject 2 points here.
Sure.
One is there's a generic version of it, so and it's disproportionately affecting low-income individuals because of it, because of the generic version is also being prescribed for not its intended use, which is for the insulin, not um, for the weight loss. And there's a third point I'd like to add to what you're saying, and this is the one that really shocked me when I was reading about it. Was apparently this is something you can cook up at home.
Yes, I did hear that too. Apparently the ingredients, people are just buying the ingredients separately, somehow making this. And it's scary to think that people are injecting something like this into their bodies with no supervision, no guidance. What happens if you get the formula wrong? I mean, I don't know about you, but I don't work for a drug company. How do I know what the formula is?
Well, not even that. Any injectables you can inject, even just a pocket of air into your veins and or into a vein, and then you can out yourself like
For
that,
sure.
right?
For sure.
But the thing is, I mean, I still stand by. Like the onus should be on the physicians not to be prescribing it, because that should be the first stop of because I think there is a professional duty on them to care for the patients who actually need it. I'm not saying that's going to solve the problem. So yes, the issues that you're bringing up are definitely still issues, but I think that comes with sort of a multi-pronged approach to dealing with this issue. But like that's the first thing where when I'm hearing physicians actually prescribing this, knowing that their patients who are type 2 diabetics actually need this drug, that is very concerning. And I think that comes more probably from the Hollywood side, because I did some research, and a lot of news outlets from Austin and different places, they're all talking about how physicians have actually sort of did a sort of I guess I don't know but for lack of a better word, a triage almost of like priority for the pharmacies to how they're administering these doses to people, and it should be the diabetics that come first, but it still ends up with the fact that they're waiting. If you go on
You know what I
Ozempic's
don't
website,
understand? You know what I don't
yeah,
understand? So there is a sister drug, if you will, called Wegovy, right?
mhm.
It is like the actual version of the same drug, but it's actually prescribed for weight loss. So I don't understand why people just wouldn't switch to this Wegovy thing. They will run into the same problems because, again, you have to meet certain criteria to get prescribed. But I mean, like,
Right.
why would you take away drugs from diabetics when you could just
Well,
ask your doctor for this other
th-
drug?
there, there's two reasons for that, I believe, and one is that medical insurance companies in the US are not covering the weight loss version of it. So then people are pressuring their doctors to prescribe the other one. And then
Mhm.
secondly, because they're derived of similar, I guess, properties, it's a supply chain issue for both of the
Oh, okay.
drugs. So it affects one, it affects the other, right? So there's a logistics issue along with that, where I guess there's greater demand and supply, and
You know what?
that's a whole nother thing, right?
Let's not really study the doctors, because guess what? If there wasn't this secret that came out now from the Hollywood side of things, people wouldn't even be demanding this drug to begin with. Okay, I think the blame lies on these stars, these celebrities that people idolize. Whether idolizing celebrities is a whole other matter. It's going to happen, right? They have these lifestyles where they're rich, they're famous, they are constantly putting their life on view for you on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. Look at my fabulous house. Look at my fabulous car. Look at this wonderful vacation I'm going on. Look at how skinny I am by using a waist trainer. That's where I have the problem with it, right? They are selling you on the idea that you can get skinny just using waist trainers, special tea, working out in a heat suit, or whatever the thing is. when it's actually not that. They're taking drugs, right? And people want to be like that. So they've tried the waist trainers, they've tried the tea, they've tried the intermittent fasting, they've tried the keto diet. It's not working. Then they find out through the back door, oh, wait a second. It's actually this drug that everybody's taking, and I know them, and it seems to be working for them. So I'm going to do it too. Because you know what? Everything in this society is like quick, quick, quick. We don't have patience. We don't actually even want to do the work. And I put a lot of blame, yes, the doctors, but I put a lot of blame on celebrities that are pushing this lifestyle that people are trying to attain. And the reason they do that is because it helps their businesses. They get promotion, they get money for these promotions too. And I think that's very irresponsible.
Well, I think there's a lot to unpack there because you said quite a bit there. But I think the first point that I would make is that what you're describing is an age-old problem. I think this goes back even to, you know, the the 19th century, where in old print, they used to advertise for different things, like whatever it is, and they it could be to get your laundry cleaner, it could be whatever advertisers promise this product is going to do. And a lot of it was focused towards women. It historically has been, uh,
Mm.
especially for weight loss and things like that, where there have been toxic things sold to women. Cigarettes is a huge thing with a big marketing campaign when the tobacco companies realized that they kind of maxed out the market with the men, and then they realized they could target this as a weight loss for women. So I think capitalism in itself comes into play there.
For
So
sure.
if we're gonna blame the celebrities for doing what they do, which is, they market themselves, I think then we need to kind of rethink society and what kind of
Right. And you
onus
know what?
we're putting.
Honestly, wait. There's no problem, okay, with celebrities marketing themselves, right? That's not the problem. I think it's the lie. The lie. It's the fact that they're not being honest with what it is that they're doing. So what's happening now is people are feeling less than because already you don't have their lifestyle, you're never going to get it, right? But even doing something simple like the same waist trainer or the same tummy tea or whatever it is that I bought that they told me works, it doesn't work. So I feel like crap now, right? I feel like less than, and it leads to people increase in anorexia. Already has happened. It's already proven that like comparing yourself to these celebrities leads to a lot of depression and increase in anorexia and a whole bunch of other different things. They can't be responsible for everybody, right? Let's just get that straight. Like everybody at the end of the day is responsible for themselves, but be honest. Be honest. Say, you know what? Yes, I do work out. Yes, I do have nutritionists. Yes, I'm using a waist trainer, but I am also using these drugs to help me. Be honest.
Okay, well, I don't know if they owe that to the public in terms of like honesty about their first, like their personal lives and their medical history, which includes what drugs they're taking. I don't necessarily think they owe that to the public. I do think they should be mindful of what they put out there, especially when it comes to impressionable young people looking up to them. So I think a better approach, or more realistic approach for them, would be just to say, redirect the conversation into, like, how about society stops putting focus on that, because that's what it comes down to. This is an age old problem where, again, if we go back centuries, or if we go back even to the Hollywood glam era, what was it? People looked up to the silver screen when they didn't realize that it was really lighting, and the fact that most of it was in black and white that made the imperfections go away. And also, they used to slather Vaseline on the camera lenses to make
To
these
blur it out a
dreamy,
little bit. Yeah.
of course, and corsets and all these things. They've always been around. I think what it is that because social media is so prevalent in our lives, and that the information age has changed things so fast that the I guess society hasn't had time to catch up with it, and also to find a safety net for especially impressionable young people, to find a
Okay,
solution on
but
how to
wait a
still,
second.
you
So,
know
so here's the deal. Okay, so you're saying that they don't really owe us much, or maybe they should be more mindful. Okay, but sometimes they're directly doing things to make you believe that if you do what they do, you'll be able to get the same results. For instance, okay,
I
I, Kylie Jenner and her lip kits. Okay, She was
Oh
saying,
yeah.
"Oh, if you use my lip kit, you'll get this same." Because everybody knew she had like super thin lips. There's nothing wrong with
Right.
that. That's how God made you good enough, right?
Right.
But she made people believe that it was just, oh, I'm overlining my lips. If you use my lip kit, you'll get the same results. You just have to use this specific technique and whatnot. Come to find out, she eventually admits that she's getting lip injections. That's a lie. And that is not fair to the people who are purchasing her products with the same, expecting the same results, right? And it's not, it is. If you're promoting a waist trainer and saying, "Oh, I always use my waist trainer when I'm working out and whatever," but meanwhile, you're shooting up Ozempic before you go for your workout, you're being disingenuous. You're being dishonest, and you are selling people on something that they can never achieve.
You're absolutely right, but it's the fact of the matter. I mean, the example you brought up is a very poignant one because with Kylie's case, there were actually people who were using these contraptions to like plump their lips up to the point where people were getting massive bruising and
They're
their
using
skin
vacuum
breaking.
cleaners.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. So I mean, it's definitely concerning, but I think the issue again is a broader one. It's not just on the current celebrities du jour who are to blame, because when you think about it, every company under the sun does a form of it. Every anti-aging skincare company is doing the same thing. They have a spokesperson usually, and they all do their claiming. Even a simple mascara spread in a magazine shows you thinking that that mascara is going to give you those full lashes when in reality it's Photoshop or fake lashes or whatever it is that the makeup artists are doing. So this is like it would be really
Yeah,
hard
but
to
you
say.
know
Like
what?
you'd have to
Honestly,
eliminate all this information. Really, okay, you know what I did? You are right. So I'm not saying that it's the points you're making are not fair points. I just think that again we'd have to take a step back and have society catch up with it. Meaning, I think that the starting point would be educating people, especially impressionable people in the school system, saying, "Hey, just so you guys know, when you go out in the world, everything is an illusion. You need to teach kids that, right? It's just like when you see
yeah,
things in
you know what?
cartoons and you
Even
see the
teach,
cartoon character walking off the bridge, it's not real life. So
yeah,
there has
no,
to be a
it's
level of
real
education.
life.
Or what are you going to do? Shut down all marketing? Because almost like the majority of marketing are based on lies, and they push it, or they give you all these subliminal messages, or they have implications or imply things that just just skirting the line so that you can't sue them, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and but the thing is,
They'll
okay,
give
so
you the
everybody
appearance,
everybody
or they
knows.
make you,
Everybody knows about
everybody
airbrushing.
knows.
Everybody knows about
Yeah,
airbrushing.
but then you can argue saying everybody with a brain in their head should have known that, hey, Kylie had very thin lips naturally, and no amount of contouring or makeup without literally a prosthetic lip being added to her makeup routine would garner that result.
Right.
So I
And
mean, where do you draw
and
the
the
line
thing,
then between you ought to know or should have known? You know what I mean?
there
I
is an
think
oughta
everything
known or
should be
should
under
know,
critical
but
eye.
how on earth would you go from, they have nutritionists, they have personal trainers, to, oh my gosh, they're using drugs? Why would you go to that? Right? Like, already, and you also know they use airbrushing and like smart angles with their cameras and whatever, right? We know that already. But I didn't think that they were
What
using.
is fueled on drugs? It's known fact. Whatever drugs, and I mean, for a long time, it was even for the supermodels, cocaine use was rampant. You know, like just to and modeling agencies have been known or have been sort of accused of telling their models, "Hey, go do some snow to control your figure. You need to lose some weight."
Yes,
Like
don't even.
models have spoken up about that it's an ongoing thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I mean,
Yeah.
you can't even say that people don't know that drugs exist. I would assume that celebrities, because they have the money and the means, they would have access to the most state of the art and latest and best beautification and health and wellness
Right. And the
and
thing
weight
is,
loss and all that
everybody
plastic surgery.
accepts everybody accepts that they get plastic surgery, right? They know that,
Right,
they lie about it. We know that they get plastic surgery, right? They have
right.
personal trainers, they have nutritionists, they probably starve themselves, they get liposuction, they do all that stuff. We all know that. We all accept it. But I think the shock comes from the fact that now they're almost cheating the system and lying about it. And I think it's dangerous. I think it's a dangerous slope. There is a lot of young people that are coming up that are idolizing these people, wanting to be like them, wanting to make it big on TikTok or any other platform. And they think that this is the way to do it. And then not even that, there's some people who are just not happy with the way that they are right now, and they're like looking for a quick fix because, like it is hard. It is hard to maintain that kind of trajectory, right? And if somebody comes along and says
Yeah.
all you need to do is inject yourself once a week and you will lose like 15-20% of your body weight, who wouldn't do that if that's what, especially when you hear that, well, Kim's doing it, not that I know she is, I don't know that she is, or and name any other celebrity that is possibly doing it, like
Well, it's like most likely, where there's smoke, there's fire, right? So I mean, let's be real. I mean, and Kim Kardashian has been known to be dishonest. I mean, her saying she's gonna have an X-ray on her behind, proving that she doesn't have butt implants. Well, girl, like
guess what, fat
BBL
injections
is
don't
not gonna
show up
show up
on an
on the X-ray.
x-ray.
Exactly. So again, like, what are you trying to? For me, where this whole industry loses me is when they think that a person. Okay, there are going to be gullible people, but don't underestimate my intelligence to that. To think that, okay, just because you do that, I'm going to believe it. I'm going to assume that you're doing everything and anything because that's how you're marketing yourself, and in a way, that's your job, is to look good, right?
Yeah.
And again, the issue is also like it's a society wide issue. It's not just them. It goes all the way like to where Michael Jackson was always hounded about whether he really has
And he
a
said
skin
he only
condition
had,
or whether
I
he's
just had two surgeries in my nose. That's all. I just had two surgeries in my
right.
nose.
So I mean, Marilyn Monroe has had plastic surgery. They all like it goes way back, right? So I mean, this is not a new issue, and I don't think this is as shocking. It's more in line with the industry and what it is, and I think what's happening now, especially with the all the social media being so in your face constantly, is that young people are having a harder time coping. So I mean, could you imagine the people who grew up in the 90s who starved themselves trying to look like these models who were wafer thin, like Kate Moss, right? That heroin chic look. And then now
Mhm.
you had the other extreme where you had all these young girls going under the knife for these BBLs when all the Instagrammers all had the same look to them, right? And
Right.
it was a thing. So now we're gonna swing back the pendulum the other direction, and guess what? Now you're gonna either have people again with a bunch of eating disorders popping up, cropping up again because people can't avoid it. You're bombarded with it by these visuals nonstop, right? Or you're
Mhm.
gonna have people who are gonna jump on some whatever the medication of the day is, whatever's the trend. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know
I
if you
mean, Anna
remember, but
Nicole Smith was pushing her hydroxycut for the longest while.
I was just gonna say that. See, that's a perfect example where the FDA had to intervene with the hydroxycut because people were getting seriously sick and people were actually dying from it. It was a
Mhm.
huge thing, and I know hydroxycut had like a massive lawsuit, and guess what? They settled for I don't know how many millions of dollars, and then they reformulated a little bit, and it's back on the market. And the thing is this: I think the pressure should also be on the politicians in the United States, especially is with the FDA. The process in which you can get a drug to market is so lax that you can pretty much push it through. And until there's proven side effects, will the FDA retroactively pull a drug from the market? Which is scary to think because you think these regulatory bodies are there looking out for the average citizen, but it's not like what
Are
you
you
have
kidding
in
me? Are you ki-
Oh, I'm
are
not
you
kidding
kidding
you.
me? Listen, there
Oh,
is
I'm not
so
kidding you.
much money in drugs. There's so much money in drugs that they're not even trying to cure anything anymore. Everything is just about treatment and making it so that whatever condition you have is livable. They don't treat anything. All the money is in drugs. They make so I can't even imagine. So how much Ozempic, since we're talking about it, how much it actually
Like,
costs? I wouldn't be surprised if it costs like $5 for a dose and they're
oh, there
charging
there are
$1,000.
diabetics who are rationing their insulin. Like they're rationing it. There was one famous case that came to light just not too long ago where the patient actually died because he was rushing his insulin. He
Mm-hmm.
died. Like, could you imagine? Like, because you cannot afford it. And the fact that people are doing everything, where like, if you go north of the border to Canada, it's pretty much like a basic human right that you will like get covered for this drug.
Yeah.
It's
And I mean,
not a matter of
and
a,
the
you
drug
know
shortages that are happening right now are insane. I don't know where it's coming from. Like, you can't even get an EpiPen. So again, people are going north of the border or south of the border, wherever they can find it. And I think it is cheaper north and south of the border.
Oh, it is. And the thing is, there's a markup. There's such a markup in the United States with these drugs that it's making it impossible for people to get their hands on it, especially if they're not covered through some kind of like. There's a large percentage of people don't have Medicare, and then the people who do have Medicare, they have to jump through hoops now with the insurance companies to actually get it covered. So that's a whole
Mm-hmm.
nother thing. People are filing Chapter 11 and everything just because they're having medical bills they can't cover, or worse, they're dying because they can't get the medication they need. And this is it's a sad state. If you're especially if you're American citizen. But back to the FDA. I mean, it's a lot different over in Europe, where there the governments care more. There's a list of banned chemicals that you cannot put in products, where they say in North America, and particularly in the US, women put thousands of chemicals on their face before they even leave their house, because there's so many products you don't even know what's in them. And
Yeah.
it's only now that they're discovering all these issues with everything that we're using you know but yeah,
Yeah.
back to Ozempic anyway. I mean, it's an interesting trend going on right now. I wonder if it's gonna stick around, or whether we're gonna have a big lawsuit at some point that's gonna kind of
You know what? I think
slow down the
check
trend.
back like a year from now. It's probably going to be
Right.
everybody on to the next. And I only hope that that's the case for people who are diabetic, so that they can actually get, so that the demand will get back down to like a more normal level, so they can actually get the medication that they need. And on
Yeah,
that
I
note,
hope so. Yeah, so let me just add one more thing. I don't know if you've
sure.
heard about this, but apparently there's a side effect to this drug. They're calling it Ozempic face.
Oh, I have heard about it, but you know what? I wasn't able to really figure out what that was. So tell.
Well, I mean, I think it's sort of mislabeled in a way, because what it is because this drug is causing such rapid weight loss. People are starting to look very gaunt in their face, because the facial fat is going. So
Hmm.
really, essentially, the plastic surgeons are making a killing, because the only way to rectify that is to add more filler or do a fat transfer in your face. But if you do a fat transfer in your face and you end up getting the weight back, well, guess what?
Then
You're gonna
you're
have
just going to be like,
you're gonna have some chipmunk cheeks, I guess. I don't know, but anyway, it's not really. They're coining it Ozempic face, but really, it's not just unique to Ozempic. It's really any form of rapid weight loss. Which logically speaking, you're gonna have that.
yeah.
That facial fat loss as well to go along with it. So,
And that's what they say.
but
A
it's
lot of times when you lose weight, it goes in your face first.
Yeah. And the concern with that is, for a lot of people, is, when they're trying to lose weight for vanity, and the side effect of the face going means it usually gives an aging appearance, because,
Yeah.
the chubby cheeks and the fullness in the face is what gives the youthness to a face. So, and it's especially true for people who tend to have really longer, like
Hmm.
narrow faces, because on them it's very obvious, versus someone who has, a
So then
wider
you know what?
face.
So you know what they got to start doing? They either got to start doing really tight ponytails to pull that stuff back, or they got to get like those elastic things where you stick it underneath your hairline
Oh,
and like
yeah,
pull it up. Yeah, problem solved,
yeah.
and for not too much money.
Actually, let me. Speaking of that, what do you think of those little stickers that people are
When
using?
the time is right, I think I'll try it.
I will never try it. I think that for me, the concept is ridiculous, because I feel like if you're playing like you're treating your skin like Play-Doh, and you're tugging and pulling at it, it's a temporary thing. You're just like actually wearing the elasticity of your skin even more for a temporary thing. I would just
Well,
say,
I
just go
mean,
get a facelift. you at that point.
Just go
At
get a
that point, you
facelift.
know.
Yeah, just go get a facelift. Just go take some Ozempic. Just go get some fat injected into your butt. Just get a breast lift. Yeah, it's just so easy. You know why I'm doing the take when
That
the
makes
time
everything
comes?
come out weird, didn't it?
Because I don't got the money for it. That's why. If I
Well,
could,
I think I'll rather sit in my sagging like seat with my I'll look like a prune if I must, but I'm not using those stickers.
well, I'm
No,
not
thank you.
doing it every
So
day. It's just if I'm going somewhere
I'm going out.
special and I want to look like not so old and like saggy, then yeah, for
Mhm.
a day or for a couple hours. I'm not talking about like it's part of my everyday routine.
People are going to be
And
starting checking.
on top of it, I did just say I'm gonna try. I didn't say I was gonna like,
Yeah.
make it a
All
permanent
right.
thing.
So Roxy, you report back to us on that when you do try it. I would love to hear about it. And
Check back
anybody,
in about 10 years.
do leave your comments below if you've tried it, and you can tell me to go to hell if you want. I can get a lot of hate. It's okay. It's well deserved, I'm sure. So on that note, yeah. So tell us what you think. Leave your comments below. What do you guys think of Ozempic? We'd love to hear your thoughts. So, um, well, until next time, I'm gonna sign off. And Roxy,
You were doing so well. Yeah, so thank you so much for joining us. It's been awesome, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.
all right. Okay. Take care. Yeah, so thank you for joining us. A little bit of a lively discussion there. Do subscribe and write your comments below. We welcome all comments, even if you don't agree. And what do you guys think of Ozempic? Is what's going on in the world today, especially with the culture of beauty? So as always, thank you for stopping by and for joining the conversation. Until next time, bye.